A few weeks ago, I came across this viral post on Japanese Twitter. It shows a family with young children enjoying riding on a luxury train car somewhere in Japan. Now, while this post went viral and started debates all over Japanese social media over what is and isn't acceptable on trains, especially for kids and their families, a neuron in my monkey brain was activated. And no, it's not because of the kids. It's because of the train that the family was riding on. This post was made in response to another, talking about the seats on a limited express train that runs between Nagoya and Osaka. While most people taking this journey would take the bullet train, known in Japanese as the Shinkansen, both the authors of these two posts argue that taking this limited express train was the correct way to make the trip. Because not only would you get a much more comfortable ride, but you could do it for nearly half the price. And with an upcoming trip to this part of Japan planned for the near future, I knew there was no better opportunity than now to ride this special train. And for just $35, I got the best experience that I've ever had on a train in Japan. Quickly before we get into the video, just a quick reminder that if you enjoy my content or find yourself coming back here on a regular basis, to consider subscribing to my channel. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2026, and your help could go a long way into making that possible. Anyway, back to the video. The trains in question are the Kintetsu 80,000 series, also known as the Hinotori. Now, some might say that there are nicer luxury trains in Japan, and those people are right. Because yes, there are nicer luxury trains in Japan. Far, far more luxury, in fact. For instance, the train suite Shikishima, operated by JR East, and the 7 Stars Kyushu, operated by JR Kyushu. These trains are more or less luxury hotels on wheels, providing the peak travel experience for those riding them. But tickets on these trains start at around 400,000 yen per person for a 2-day trip, so just a little out of my price range. There are also trains like the Sapphire Odoriko, also operated by JR East. These trains offer their premium green seats for just under 13,000 yen for the 2.5-hour journey between Tokyo and Izu-Shimoda on the Izu Peninsula. However, for most of the year, there is one Sapphire Odoriko in operation every day in each direction. Meanwhile, there's a Hinotori train that operates hourly between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. every weekday, with 8 more trains thrown in on the weekends. Furthermore, while that 2.5-hour journey costs 13,000-ish yen on the Sapphire Odoriko, it's just 5,600 yen for the Hinotori. The only train that I currently know of that's comparable to the Hinotori is the Spacia X, operated by Tobu. This train connects Asakusa Station in Tokyo to Nikko and Kinugawa Onsen stations in Tochigi Prefecture. A premium seat on the Spacia X is actually cheaper in price than riding on the Hinotori, at just 3,920 yen. But with just 6 trains a day, 4 to Nikko and 2 to Kinugawa Onsen, the Spacia X is blown away by the Hinotori service rate. And instead of connecting a city to a largely tourist destination, the Hinotori connects Japan's 3rd and 4th largest cities. Well, if this train is so good then why don't more people ride it? The reason is its speed. There's only 2 trains in Japan that operate above 160 kilometers per hour, or around 100 miles per hour. The Keisei Skyliner, connecting Ueno to Narita Airport, and the Shinkansen lines. For the Hinotori to complete its route between Osaka Namba Station and Kintetsu Nagoya Station, it takes a little over 2 hours. That's compared to just 1 hour 19 minutes using the subway and the Shinkansen, around 40 minutes faster than the Hinotori. Even on the slowest speed Shinkansen service, the Kodama, which stops at every single station, the time is 85 to 90 minutes between Namba and Nagoya Station. So, if the Shinkansen is so much faster, why bother taking the Hinotori then? Well, what you lose in time by taking the Hinotori, you more than make up for in comfort. So let's compare the two directly then, starting with the standard seat on the Shinkansen. If you've ever ridden the bullet train in Japan, odds are you've probably ridden in the standard class seats before. This is the typical Shinkansen seat, arranged in a 2x3 seat arrangement. Also, as a quick travel tip, if you want to see Mount Fuji while riding the Tokaido Shinkansen, sit in the block of 2, as they're on the north side of the train facing the mountain. The seats provide a standard level of comfort. There's a small tray table that extends, although I couldn't get mine to do so in this shot, a seat back pocket for bottles and devices, and a standard space overhead for bags. Some cars also have a special space for oversized bags that is free to use, so you don't need to worry if you're traveling with a large suitcase. These seats are totally fine, and are fairly cheap too. A standard seat between Nagoya and Osaka is just 6,480 yen, just a few hundred yen more expensive than the Hinotori. But these seats aren't the only ones that the Tokaido Shinkansen offers. There's also the green car, the first class cars on this route. To upgrade to a green car between Nagoya and Osaka, it will cost you an extra 2,300 yen, totaling out to around 8,750 yen. But you get a massive increase in seat quality if you do. The green car seats have several amenities that the standard seats don't. For one, they're much wider, as there are only 4 seats per row instead of the 5 in standard class. There's also a sizable amount of legroom, with footrests to boot, and the seats recline way back if you want them to. Here's a shot showing a seat upright and fully reclined, just so you can see the difference. There's small tray tables embedded in the armrests on top of the ones on the seat back, and a reading light in every seat as well. The seats can also be heated, perfect if you're traveling in winter. Finally, before we leave the Shinkansen behind, a quick bathroom review. The regular Shinkansen bathroom has a toilet, a sink, and nothing else. The soap is outside in a separate washroom. There's also a women's only toilet and a men's only toilet, neither of which I filmed because of A, trying not to get arrested, and B, a lack of privacy respectively. Obviously, the best part about using the Shinkansen is the speed. Just around 50 minutes to go from Nagoya to Shin Osaka. No other train in Japan can compete with the Shinkansen for quick intercity travel. But what if you're not looking to go fast and want to see a different part of Japan that many don't get to see? Well, that's where the Hinotori comes in. The Hinotori, meaning phoenix or firebird in Japanese, is operated by Kintetsu, a rail company that operates in central Japan, namely in Kyoto, Osaka, Nara, Mie, and Aichi prefectures. The company was founded in 1910 and began operating a service between Osaka and Nara on what is today the modern-day Nara line in 1914. Kintetsu continued expanding throughout the early 1900s, and following the Second World War, began their first limited express service between Uehomachi in Osaka and Nagoya Station. This is still the same route that Kintetsu's limited express trains follow to this day. So what is the route then? Well, let's look at the map to find out. We'll start at Osaka Namba, because that's the station that I personally boarded the Hinotori from. Beginning at Namba, the Hinotori makes a brief stop at Osaka Uehomachi and Tsuruhashi, before switching to the Kintetsu Osaka line and plunging into the mountains of Nara Prefecture. While some Hinotori trains stop at Yamatoyagi Station in Nara, most won't make another stop until Tsu Station in Mie Prefecture. And as a fun fact, Tsu Station is the shortest name for a train station in Japan at just 1 character long. After Tsu, most trains don't stop until the terminus at Kintetsu Nagoya Station. However, some trains make brief stops at Shiroko, Kintetsu Yokkaichi, and Kuwana before arriving in Nagoya. While the exact time to do this varies depending on the train schedule, the Hinotori completes this journey in between 2 hours and 5 minutes and 2 hours and 20 minutes depending on the number of stops. And this might be a turnoff for some people, because the Shinkansen is nearly an hour faster to go between these two stations. Or, if you just want to look at the trip between Shin Osaka and Nagoya, it can be up to 90 minutes faster. You can travel from Osaka to Nagoya and back by the time it takes the Hinotori just to make the trip one way. But let me tell you that those 2 hours that I spent on the Hinotori were the nicest 2 hours I've ever had on any mode of transit, in Japan or not. And as a reminder, the Hinotori costs less than the standard class on the Shinkansen. So you can make the trip on the Hinotori and still have money left over for snacks or some drinks to make the ride even more enjoyable. We arrived at Osaka Namba at a little before 7. I say we because I wasn't making this trip alone, as I was joined by my friend Logan, who was actually in the very first video that I ever made on this channel. One thing you'll notice on the platform served by the Hinotori is that there are these little vending machines that sell merchandise for the train. Some of the options included keychains, stuffed toys, pens, and mugs. Our train arrived at the station about 15 minutes before we were scheduled to depart. And wow, is this train beautiful. I'm not the only one who thinks that, as the Kintetsu 80,000 series won the Blue Ribbon Award from the Japan Rail Fan Club for the Best New Design of 2021. So clearly, Kintetsu and the design firm behind the 80,000 series are doing something right. We were in car 8 at the very end of the train. This is important, as we'd be riding in the premium class on this trip. There's something I haven't revealed, that there's actually 2 classes on the Hinotori. The standard seats, which are of a quality somewhere in between the standard and green car seats on the Shinkansen, and the premium seats, the ones we'd be sitting in. If you're wondering about the price difference between the two, it's 700 yen. Yeah, the 5,690 yen fare that I've been quoting, that's the price for the premium seats. The standard seats are even less expensive. There are 8 rows of 3 seats each, and 2 of these premium cars per train, meaning that there are only 48 premium seats on the Hinotori. We were sitting in the last row, row 8. Every seat comes with an information card that explains about the train and the intricacies of the seat. There's also Wi-Fi, which worked for about 5 minutes before I lost connection, although maybe that was just my phone, I'm not 100% sure. Let's take a look at the seat now from bottom to top. Premium seats on the Hinotori are similar to business class seats on airplanes. At least I assume they are. I've never actually ridden in business class before. But the seats come with over 130 centimeters, over 4 feet of legroom. I'm not that tall, only about 178 centimeters, or around 5'9", but I was still blown away by how spacious the seats were. They also have an auto recline feature, and you can go way, way back. There are also heated seats, which felt great after the 12K of walking that we had done that day. There's a tray table hidden inside the outer armrest, as well as a small one on the center armrest. The center one can actually be moved to reveal a hidden cup holder. Moving further up the seat, there's an adjustable headrest, which was really hard to move one-handed, and a reading light. Each seat has its own window, which have shades that automatically extend and retract at the push of a button. Finally, there's overhead storage space for bags. But the seat is only half of the experience. Just outside the door to the premium car, there's a small space with a coffee machine and a vending machine with snacks and merch that you know I had to cop. There's also a few luggage storage lockers that are free to use for passengers, although they were all taken by the time I went to record them. Furthermore, the bathroom. Oh my god, the bathroom. Much like the Shinkansen, there was a women's and men's only bathroom. There's also a separate hand washing space outside. But the main bathroom in the car? Oh boy. Can someone explain to me why a train bathroom has a bidet? And not just a cheap one that barely works, but a full service, all the bells and whistles bidet. And the toilet seat was heated. A heated seat in a train bathroom. And there was hand soap inside the bathroom. Unbelievable. I will wholeheartedly say that riding the Hinotori was the best experience that I've had thus far on a train in Japan. It completely blows the Shinkansen out of the water, even the green car seats. Now, I will admit that I have yet to ride in the Grand Class on the Tohoku-bound Shinkansens or any of the other special trains that I mentioned earlier. But I think that the Hinotori will be hard to beat, especially for the price that we paid. This was also helped by the fact that we were using a Kintetsu Unlimited Ride Pass for our trip, which covers the base fare of the Hinotori. This pass is meant for foreign tourists, with the 5-day pass providing coverage for all Kintetsu lines for 5 consecutive days. So in actuality, for the 2 seats on the train, we only paid 2,800 yen each. This level of comfort for the price of this cheesesteak in Tokyo? Good luck. Our train arrived in Nagoya a little after 9 p.m. We were exhausted because of our long day, but boy am I glad that we rode the Hinotori. Logan and I would be spending the next few days in and around Nagoya, so whenever we'd be riding the Kintetsu line, we'd always point out the stunning red Hinotoris as they passed us by. For us, riding the Hinotori was one of the highlights of our trip to central Japan, and Logan's entire trip to Japan as a whole. While most people who visit Japan take the Shinkansen for its speed, convenience, and to cross that bucket list item off their Japan itinerary, if you want to take it a bit slower and see some parts of Japan that few do, I highly recommend taking the Hinotori. You can save yourself some money, enjoy a luxury experience unrivaled by most trains, and your butt will even be squeaky clean by the end of it. If you get the chance to ride the Hinotori, you should 100% do it. Thank you all for watching, take care, and goodbye for now.